As the sun climbs higher in the sky, Fred Japusi spreads out fish on papyrus mats in front of his home. The fisherman resides in Bulalaka village, Tirinyi sub-county in Kibuku district. It is evident that he is favoring his swollen right hand, a testimony of the beating he suffered at the hands of his 20-year-old wife.
Maybe I do not have enough manpower. I want to visit a witch doctor to see where the problem lies. I have heard that some of them give you manpower so that when you meet a woman, she's satisfied.
Japusi met his wife 4 years ago.
I met her at Chiin landing site. I hoped for peace and children from her. I was ready to learn the rest of the things that come with marriage.
After she had weaned their child, the fisherman sold a goat and gave his wife 150,000 shillings to open a stall to sell matoke, or green bananas, and mukene, or silverfish. However, a few days after starting the business, he visited his wife's stall and found her talking to an older man.
2 months after the business began, I found her with 500,000 shillings. When I requested her to refund my 150,000 shillings, she refused and challenged me to do whatever I wanted to. I always found her with older men.
She always told him the men were her relatives. One day, Japusi walked to his wife's stall with a knife.
I grabbed him, but he was strong and ran away. I turned to my wife and beat her. 2 days later, I found the same man in her stall. We quarreled and I returned home.
That day, he was to test his wife's harshness. She prepared a meal for him and served it. However, while he enjoyed the meal, she did not eat.
When I woke up, I had been tied to the bed, lying on my stomach. My wife beat my back with a mingling stick. Then she began hitting my hands.
As she beat him, she kept shouting at him to stop putting his nose into her affairs. She hit him severely and then packed whatever she could carry, locked him inside the house, and traveled to her parents' home in Budaka district.
I called out to my neighbor. He is the one who broke the door and untied me.
Japusi's situation is not unique to him. Tom Kiria is the LC1 chairperson of Kotolo Zone 1 village in Tirinyi sub-county. However, the 31-year-old's office could not protect him when it became evident that his 27-year-old wife, Stella Namukole, had the upper hand in the marriage.
When you allow your wife to run your business, as I did, it takes only 3 months before she gets a lover or steals your money. Permitting women to work has brought problems.
At the time, Kiria and his wife had a 4-month-old baby. When he continued to demand that the profits from the business be used to fund his other businesses, his wife's attitude changed.
Because I kept demanding accountability, she decided to kill me. I was lying down when she came and hit my face with the engine starter. Then she stabbed me with a knife.
People from nearby shops rushed Kiria to the hospital. Eventually, he reported the case to the police, but he says no action was taken. 2 days after stabbing him, a friend who visited Kiria in hospital informed him that his wife had welcomed her lover into their home and they were living together. When he was discharged, Kiria picked up his child and went to live in a rented room. The child is now 3.5 years old.
She took my 8 million shillings and left me in debt. The business collapsed.
What hurts him the most is that his wife's lover is his relative. With a lack of support systems in place, unlike the two men, many of their counterparts who suffer domestic violence remain silent and isolate themselves. Others flee their homes and communities in an attempt to escape the violence. Badru Kiria, the chairperson of Bugwere Cultural Council and the first deputy prime minister of the Bugwere Cultural Institution, lays the blame on women's empowerment for the rise of gender-based violence against men.
And when a woman gets empowered economically, that is already a torture to a man. A man is the head of the family. is the president of the family. Then a woman is a permanent secretary. So if a permanent secretary is more empowered than the president, automatically that makes a violence.
Kiria also blames the vice on cross-generational sex, saying when older women walk out of their marital homes, they rent rooms in the trading centers and entice young men into relationships.
These younger men, some of them, the way they have grown up, their manhood is a bit weak. And when you are harassed because of consummating, you can't even go to your father and say, I was harassed because I was OT.
Both Japusi and Kiria can no longer do manual work because of the injuries they suffered at the hands of their wives. Kiria was forced to sell off his maize milling machine.
I got a loan in the parish development model to start a poultry business. However, the loan is not sufficient.
Moses Joel Omugulusi, the Prime Minister of the Bugwere Cultural Institution, adds that the kingdom is stepping up its sensitization activities to help the subjects have a mindset change and to protect men from their wives.
Then you find even the few people who access the facilities, like now PDM has come in. Do you know that someone can get money? There is one who, when they asked him where he took the money, he said he bought a smartphone. I'm sure if even the man who did that listens to me, then he should be able to accept that he deserved a beating.
With the patriarchal nature of African society, it has now become an ingrained belief that women's empowerment has left men without support or a voice in society. However, empowered women also face backlash from their partners, family, and community who accuse them of not submitting to their spouses.